Hi, everyone. Welcome to the 700 Club. I'm Andrew Knox in for Gordon Robertson today. Target in the crosshairs. The nationwide retailer is feeling the pushback after featuring a line of products for the gay and transgender communities. The company launched the line ahead of June's Pride Month, celebrating the LGBTQ community.
Well, since the controversy started, Target's stock has dropped 12%. That's a loss of $9 billion in market value. And now the retail giant is pulling some of the products off the shelves. Charlene Aaron reports.
Retail giant Target began advertising gay pride products in early May, including items for trans women. Following intense pushback, the company decided to remove some of the items from stores. This comes as other businesses expand promotions and displays in association with the June Pride Month. From an Adidas ad showcasing a biological male wearing a women's swimsuit, to Target's items featuring slogans like Live, Laugh, Lesbian and clothing for babies and children, the marketing of pride products abound.
I was shopping at Target yesterday, and this is what I've seen. People always say, don't push your agenda on people. Don't push your beliefs on people. But this ain't pushing your belief on people. They will say, this is just for the adults. This is baby clothes, kids clothes. This agenda is for everybody. Wake up.
Former gay Hollywood set and fashion designer Beckett Cook, now a devout Christian, calls the widespread approval of LGBTQ ideology part of an overall activist strategy. He singles out this book, After the Ball, How America Will Conquer Its Fear and Hatred of Gays in the 90s, as proof of the gay agenda to undermine Christianity and traditional American family values.
We're inundated with TV shows, movies, media, social media. The 90s was really the decade that it really took off with Will and Grace, with Sex and the City had gay characters in it. After decades of that happening and being inundated with that, it's no wonder that the culture is it's been completely normalized in the culture.
Many are pushing back against that normalization. Thousands are now boycotting Target, forcing the chain to remove some pride merchandise from store shelves, and in some locations, moving displays from the front of stores to the back. In a statement Tuesday, the company cited safety concerns, saying, since introducing this year's collection, we've experienced threats impacting our team members' sense of safety and well-being while at work. Given these volatile circumstances, we are making adjustments to our plans, including removing items that have been at the center of the most significant confrontational behavior. Minister Nicole Collins lived as a lesbian for 20 years. She says in a culture that embraces LGBTQ ideals, Christians can make a difference. Today, she runs a Christian clothing line featuring the rainbow.
The Lord literally showed me a vision, and I saw a hand clutching the rainbow in the clouds, and I saw the words inscripted, "Take back the rainbow."
As the battle over this and other issues continue, many stress that violence is never the answer and should be condemned. Collins encourages believers instead pray for the LGBTQ community.
God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son. He died for the homosexual, he died for the transgender, but that's why we need to be born again. And so I think that the church just needs to be that pillar. We've got to show love without compromising.
Cook agrees.
Every day during Pride Month, we should all as Christians be praying for people to get saved out of that life, just like God did with me.
Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
Well, every year, I think this is anticipated come mid-May as marketing campaigns roll out for Pride Month in June. The companies roll out their marketing materials, and then this type of stuff happens. A $9.3 billion market loss for Target. Of course, Christians, evangelicals, right-wing conservatives, however you want to label or brand them, aren't just responsible for that. That's everyday Americans. That's moms who want to bring their daughter into Target or whatever retail store to buy grandma a birthday card or get a bathing suit. Those are the families here who are just saying, I don't want to get involved in this. Or, of course, Bud Light, you've got guys getting off work on a Friday. They want to pick up their six-pack of beer without engaging in the culture war. So, also, you know, when Americans feel or perceive that kids are being targeted, whether companies say they are or are not, Families respond, Americans respond. So you know other companies are definitely watching what's happening. In other news, members of Congress are among the millions traveling this holiday weekend, but they might have to do a quick turnaround if negotiators reach a deal on the debt limit. John Jessup has more on that story from our CBN News Bureau in Washington. John?
That's right, Andrew. New reporting from multiple outlets suggests the White House and congressional Republicans are closer to an agreement. Elements of the deal reportedly include raising the debt limit for 2 years, getting them past the 2024 presidential election, as well as spending caps on programs unrelated to the military and veterans. Despite the progress, many are anxious of the consequences if the June 1st deadline passes without a deal.
Obligations are obligations. I'm responsible for mine. The government should be responsible for theirs.
Without Social Security and SNAP, not only would we be homeless, my goodness, we wouldn't have money to buy food with.
If the two sides reach agreement over the holiday, Congress will have 24 hours to return and then 72 hours to read the bill, making the final votes in the House and Senate a race against the clock to beat the deadline. Well, now to the Supreme Court and a decision handed down weakening the power of the Environmental Protection Agency. In a new opinion issued Thursday, the High Court unanimously agreed the Clean Water Act does not give the EPA the authority to block homeowners from building a home near a wetland in Idaho. Though the justices were split 5-4 as to why. The ruling holds that the federal government's definition of waters of the United States must be restricted to a water source with a continuous surface connection to major waterways. Well, less than a week away from the start of hurricane season, and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration is forecasting a 70% chance of a normal or below normal season. NOAA predicting more than a dozen named storms between June 1st and November 30th, including the possibility of multiple major hurricanes off the Atlantic coast. Warmer than average ocean temperatures and El Nino could make for an unusually active season. Well, stormy weather along the East Coast will contribute to a hectic holiday weekend. Tens of millions of Americans are traveling over Memorial Day in what experts say will be one of the busiest in decades. CBN's George Thomas has the details.
Travelers, get ready for one of the busiest Memorial Day weekends in over 2 decades.
A lot of traffic coming in, so I'm glad we're here early.
From LA to New York to Boston and cities in between, drivers all trying to beat the rush ahead of the holiday.
You're not down here by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, then you're going to get stuck in traffic for probably 3 hours or more.
Airports and highways expected to see pre-pandemic levels as millions set off between now and Monday. Some 37 million expected to drive at least 50 miles from home this weekend, 2 million more than last year this time. AAA predicting long lines and potential disruptions at airports as TSA agents get set to screen more than 10 million flyers over the weekend, a 14% increase since 2022.
All the modes of transportation are close to 2019 or pre-pandemic numbers. The one that is actually bigger than pre-pandemic is air travel.
Airlines facing huge staff shortages and cancellations in recent times will also have their systems tested this weekend.
We're doing everything we can to press airlines to deliver that good service. And if there is an issue, we have your back.
And if you think extending your stay till Tuesday will save you on the traffic headache, think again.
It looks like Tuesday afternoon is starting to become a difficult time where we're going to have higher than normal volume. So many of the folks trying to avoid that crunch are actually too many people with the same idea.
With millions set to hit the sands this weekend, a rise in shark attacks has some beachgoers worried.
Person possibly bit by a shark above the ankle below the calf. They're controlling the bleeding right now.
In Stone Harbor, New Jersey, 15-year-old Maggie Drodowski bit by a shark while surfing earlier this week.
I was in shock. I was under the water, and I tried to shake my leg as hard as I could.
Now recovering at home after suffering no serious injuries. George Thomas, CBN News.
Thank you, George. Andrew, back to you.
Thank you, John and George. Well, it's Memorial Day weekend, shark sightings and air travel and car travel delays. Get ready if you're traveling, of course, for the delays. It's good to anticipate that going in and to think that airlines are pre-pandemic levels. People are glad to be out of their house. I hope the airlines can staff it accordingly. And I guess now with so many people working from home nowadays, they're able to travel on a Tuesday. So that is no longer a great travel day for people. I hope you all have a good Memorial Day weekend. And remember the purpose for the weekend as well.